Hello everyone, my name is Debbie and we are here at the Living Library, and today we have a fun book. It's a math book and it is called Blockhead. Yes, it's backwards, still yet. The Life of Fibonacci. I wanted to get that right. Fibonacci. Blockhead, The Life of Fibonacci. And yes, it is a math one. Here we go. You can call me Blockhead. Everyone else does. One day when I was just a boy, Maestro wrote out a math problem and gave us 10 minutes to solve it. I solved it in 2 seconds. That's the way I am with numbers. I have loved them since I was very little. Everywhere I looked in my parents' home, there was something to count. That day in class, the other students did their math on abacuses and wrote out their answers in Roman numerals. It was time-consuming, but that's how we did our math back then. As I waited for them to finish, I got bored. I counted 12 birds in a tree outside. How many legs did all those birds have, I wondered? How many eyes? How many wings? If each bird sang for 2 seconds, one bird right after the other, how long would it take them to all sing? These were such beautiful questions that I started daydreaming. So here he is in school and he's looking out the window, and what he sees are all the birds. Leonardo, cried Maestro, how dare you daydream in my class? But sir, I said, I'm thinking. Aha, Maestro cried, there's the trouble. There will be no thinking in this classroom, only working. You're nothing but an absent-minded, lazy dreamer. You blockhead. The other kids laughed. Blockhead, blockhead, they cried. Oh, I was so sad that I ran out of school and into the streets of Pisa. I let the noise of the city swallow me up. What a wonderful city it was. The year was 1178, and Pisa was one of the greatest cities in all of Italy. In the churchyard, workers were building a new bell tower. Something had gone seriously wrong with the builder's math. All around me, I saw and heard the glory of numbers. So many people were using math in their work, my head was swimming. So that's the bell tower that the math was not quite right on. I was so excited that I didn't watch where I was going. Stop dreaming, a lady cried. What are you, a blockhead? That night, my father was angry. The whole city is talking, he yelled. Everyone says my son is an idiot. They call you Blockhead. I can't have that. Perhaps you were too hard on your son, Signor Bonaccio, said my father's advisor, Alfredo. Silence, cried father. Leonardo, soon you will leave with me to Africa. That will put an end to these nicknames. I'll make a merchant of you yet. Yuck, I thought. Who wants to be a merchant? The night before we sailed, I couldn't sleep. I watched sadly as a shooting star fell into the ocean. In the star's light, I saw an old friend. He waited for me to dry my tears. I think people are happiest when they know what pleases them, said Alfredo. Me, I love cheese. And you, Master Leonardo, what makes you happiest? Numbers, I said without thinking. Then you should learn all you can about them. That is the way you will always be happy. I decided to take Alfredo's advice. My father took me to live in a city called, it's B-U-G-I-A, Bugia, in Northern Africa. In my new home, I noticed that the Arab merchants didn't use Roman numerals. They used numerals they had borrowed from the Hindu people of India. Back home, when we wrote 18, we wrote it like this, X, V, and then 3 slashes. Here, the merchants just wrote 18, like we see here. So here, the merchants just wrote 18. See how much easier it is? I wanted so much to learn these numerals. By day, I did my father's accounts. At night, Alfredo went with me as I learned the strange new numerals. When I got older, my father sometimes sent me on business trips. When I wasn't working, I sought out wise men in every city. So in Egypt, I learned how the ancient pharaohs and their subjects had used fractions. I measured my way through Istanbul, Turkey, Damascus, and Syria. In Greece, I learned about geometry from ancient books of math. And in Sicily, I put my division and subtraction skills to good use. And in France, I just ate really good soup. One day, I began to write a book about Hindu Arabic numerals, and I tossed some riddles into it, like this one. Okay, here's the riddle. There was a man who put 2 baby rabbits in a field. It takes rabbits 1 month to grow up and be ready to have babies. And it takes them 1 more month to give birth to a pair of baby rabbits. Every month, a pair of grown-up rabbits gives birth to a new pair of baby rabbits. How many pairs of rabbits will the man have at the end of the year? Can you do that one? Can you do that one? I don't know. Here's Alfredo. And it says Alfredo tried to solve it, but he couldn't. Okay. Then he says, I showed Alfredo how to solve the problem. So on the very first day, you have 1 pair of baby rabbits. At the end of month 1, you have 1 pair all grown up and ready to have babies. Okay, so by the end of the 2nd month, you have 1 grown-up pair and 1 baby pair. At the end of the 3rd month, now you have 2 grown-up pairs and you have 1 baby pair of rabbits. By the end of month 4, you have 3 grown-up pairs of rabbits, not baby rabbits. You have 3 grown-up pairs of rabbits, and you also have 2 baby pairs. And at the end of month 5, you have 5 grown-up pairs and 3 baby pairs. Then I noticed that you don't even have to write out the whole problem. If you keep on adding, if you add any 2 consecutive numbers in the pattern, you'd get the next number. So I'm going to show this to you kind of backwards. I think we'll get it. So he says, if you add any two consecutive numbers, like, how can I say consecutive? One after the other. In the pattern, you will then get the answer. So in this case, we have, and I'm going to go backwards, one pair plus one pair equals two pairs. One pair plus two pairs equal three pairs. And three pairs plus, two pairs plus three pairs equals five pairs. Okay. Here are the first few numbers of the pattern. So he figured out that in math, there's these patterns in the riddle of the pairs of rabbits. Here's the pattern, and I'm just going to read what it says. 1, then 2, then 3, then 5, then 8, then 13, then 21, then 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, 377. If you don't watch out, you'll have 233 pairs of rabbits in 1 year, or 377 if you start with a grown-up pair. So I'm going to show you the picture that he has, and this is just the artist's drawing of it. The artist is trying to draw a picture of a math problem, if you can believe that. I think what this is saying, and you can think about this and you can maybe discuss it amongst yourselves or with me, but we're just say it to the screen. Maybe we should say that, is that he has figured out that math and numbers have patterns. And I think what the book is saying, that maybe nobody has really recognized that before. So news of my work reached Frederick II, ruler of the Holy Roman Empire. And when I visited his palace, his wise men challenged me with a bunch of really hard math problems, but he solved them in no time. And I'm going to put the book aside and say, but why? Because he had realized after so many years, because we knew he was little and he grew up, he loved numbers, that he got them really fast, that he was able to see the combinations and the patterns of numbers. And that's why he was able to solve them in no time. This Leonardo is one smart cookie, said Frederick, and everyone laughed. And after all, he was the emperor. I felt proud of my accomplishments, but one day when I was back in Pisa, I overheard someone talking in the marketplace. "Oh, that's the son of Bonaccio," said the man. "He's the one who says we should use those numerals from India." "Oh, what's wrong with the old numerals?" asked another. "If they were good enough for the Romans, they're good enough for me." What a blockhead. Suddenly, I was sad again. What good is all my work if people don't listen, I thought. People will always remember me as a blockhead. And I wondered what my old friend Alfredo would have said. And suddenly, it was as if he was there with me. "Oh, don't listen to those fools, Leonardo," roared Alfredo. "Aren't those numbers of yours very important?" "I certainly think so," I said. "Someday Hindu Arabic numerals will be known all over the world. Why, the more I study them, the more amazed I am by them." With that, I pointed to a flower on the beach. "How many petals does this flower have?" And let me see if I can find if he drew something on the beach. I don't see in the pictures that he drew something in the beach. with that, I pointed to a flower on the beach. Okay, let me show you. And it says, how many petals does this flower have? So let me show you the picture of them. Now that's the ghost of Alfredo. Okay, so they're looking at petals. Okay, how many, where is it? How many petals does this flower have? And Alfredo counted and answered 21. And this flower, 13. He replied, so what? But I did not reply quickly. Instead, we walked along the beach all night counting things. And so here they are, walking and counting things. We counted 3 petal flowers, 5 petal flowers, and 8 petal flowers. We counted to 5 on the arms of a starfish and the inside of an apple. See, Alfredo? I said, in everything that I count, everywhere I look, I keep finding those same numbers that were there when I made the math puzzle riddle of the rabbit pears. Do you remember that? I keep finding the same numbers. Do you recognize them? Alfredo recited them aloud. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. Oh my goodness, he cried. They are the numbers from your rabbit problem. Exactly, I said, and we are just getting started. Lately, I've been thinking about those numbers in a different way. Watch. And in the sand, I drew one tiny square and one more tiny square next to it. Next came a shape 2 squares high and 2 squares wide. Then a 3 by 3 square shape. Then a 5 by 5 square shape, an 8 by 8 square shape, a 13 by 13 square shape. And remember, if we want to go farther, 21, 34, 55. So he's taking that same. All right, so let me show you this really quick. So those are his squares. All right. Now, I could go on and on, he says, but it just wouldn't look right unless I connected them like this. And can you guess what I drew inside of all these squares, these boxes? Alfredo could not guess. A spiral, I shouted. You can make a spiral with my numbers. How magnificent. So let me come in real close if I can get it. Where's the, there it is. And you can see it just starts to spiral out. All right, yes it is, I said, but I still don't understand why these numbers are so special. Don't you see, Leonardo? Said Alfredo. These are the numbers Mother Nature uses to order the whole universe. She had hidden them in many places, and until now, no one had found her secret. So let's go here. Alfredo's words filled my heart with joy. All my life, people had called me Blockhead because I daydreamed about numbers, but how could that be bad? Mother Nature loved numbers too. Alfredo was delighted. From the tiniest, and Alfredo is saying this, from the tiniest plant to the prettiest pine cone, from the tallest flower to the wettest wave, to the most wondrous, far off galaxy. All these are home to your numbers, Leonardo. And here he has his sunflower. Ooh, that touched my heart a little bit too. I am old now, but numbers still make me happy. In all my years, I have never told anyone the secret I shared with Alfredo that night. But now I've told you. So look through this book again and you will find my numbers just as they are in real life. Now you see why I don't mind being called Blockhead after all. Okay. So I am going to read to you really quickly Leonardo of Pisa. He lived from, they're not sure, they have a 1170 to 1240. Little is known about the life of the mathematician called Leonardo, I keep forgetting his name, Fibonacci. So little is known about the life of the mathematician called Leonardo Fibonacci. This story is based on the few things we know about him and a bit of make-believe. His nickname, Bigolo, can be translated as wanderer or traveler. It may also mean idler, dreamer, or lazy person. In other words, a blockhead. Today, Leonardo is considered the greatest. Oh gosh, why does this stuff touch me so much? I'm gonna get all emotional. Today, Leonardo is considered the greatest Western mathematician of the Middle Ages. A statue of him stands in Pisa, Italy, not far from the famous Leaning Tower, and the Hindu-Arabic numerals that he worked so hard to introduce to the world are the very same ones we use today. For all his work, Leonardo is best known for the number pattern that appeared in his famous rabbit problem, a pattern we call Fibonacci sequence. Scientists and mathematicians now know that the sequence is special. It's a blueprint that describes how living things such as flowers grow in an orderly, harmonious way. The numbers even pop up in works of human imagination, buildings, music, art, and poetry. And yet, say historians, Leonardo never realized the importance of these numbers, or did he? So here is the picture of the statue of him next to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now, for you who are interested, ask your parents, please, before you do this, if you could go to the library and look up books that have the Fibonacci sequence in them, or if your parents allow you on the computer to Google Fibonacci sequence, and you will see the most surprising, beautiful, amazing Fibonacci pattern sequence in all nature. It's wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this book. I did. So thank you so much, and we hope to see you next time.